I'm sitting here talking to somebody who's not a conservative right-wing extremist. You're a left-leaning, liberal, progressive, and you're talking about Barack Obama this way. Let's talk a bit about health care. Health care was another thing. I remember when the health care thing was being debated early on, Barack Obama was being secretly in the White House with people from the healthcare industry. Biden, his vice president, was meeting up in Delaware in his home with him. I wrote a commentary at that time. People went, what? What happened with health care? What are the concerns there?
Well, we had all the outrage over Dick Cheney's, and Bush not revealing the visitor logs at the White House. What CEOs were they meeting with in these secret energy task forces? And now we largely know, but, BP and the rest of them were in there meeting with Cheney, deciding our war policy and our energy policy. Well, here's Obama meeting with the heads of the drug companies and the heads of the health insurance companies and telling them what the bill coming out of Congress will do. It will not allow us to negotiate lower drug prices. It will not threaten the profits of the insurance companies that eat up a third of our money and give us this disastrous healthcare industry in this country. And you can't see the visitor logs, same as Bush and Cheney. And this was, in contrast to Bush, someone who campaigned on he was going to live stream the meetings on the internet. Everything was going to be transparent. And then, of course, that didn't happen.
His government is one of the most secretive of all time. In fact, Dahlia Lithwick for Salon has called him the keeper of Bush secrets.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I was beating up on the ACLU for refusing to support the impeachment of Bush and Cheney, and and the minute they had done a full 8 years worth of damage, they jumped in. Well, let's prosecute them. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the ACLU going after Obama for torture. I haven't seen that yet. What I have seen is the ACLU going after Obama for protecting Bush and Cheney's torturing, and Obama's Justice Department.
That's a good distinction.
And yes. it is, and which is a distinction I don't make. The torture is ongoing, yes. And then the Obama White House continues to claim the power to torture and rendition and so forth. But it's not something that the ACLU has gotten to yet, as far as I can tell. So I'm still pushing them.
Keep pushing them. Yes.
But what Obama's Justice Department has been doing is claiming powers of secrecy and government privilege that Bush and Cheney never dreamed of to protect Bush and Cheney.
Okay, how dangerous is President Obama's war? I call it war policy. It's not defense policy. Mm-hmm. War policy, because we're aggressive, we're occupying countries. How dangerous is it to the world and the United States?
As Congresswoman Shelley Pingree told General Petraeus yesterday as we do this interview, it is making us less safe. It is making the world more dangerous. It is making this country more dangerous. The blowback that we've seen thus far has included a man trying to set off a bomb in Times Square.
We're creating terrorists.
We are creating terrorists. The global war on terror, or of terror, call it what you want, is creating terrorism. Terrorism has increased over the past several years in response to our actions. They don't hate our freedoms. They hate what we're doing to their countries.
Oh, as history shows you, people hate occupying armies. They always have, from Jesus' time all the way through history, yes.
The
American Revolution was against an occupying army.
Of course it was. Of course it was. And
so we're getting this blowback now.
We're getting blowback, and it could destroy us all. I mean, there's the energy problem. There's these wars for oil, and the biggest user of oil is, of course, the military in the process of conducting the wars. And we're destroying the atmosphere and possibly now the ocean. But there's the problem of military blowback. And the Obama White House has put out a new nuclear policy. We will not attack any non-nuclear states except Iran. Israel has sent ships with nuclear weapons to the coast of Iran. The White House press secretary on almost a weekly basis says nothing is off the table, meaning we can start a war against Iran. We are very close to provoking a nuclear war, which is quite likely to become a global nuclear war. This is the death of everybody, not just that strange foreign language speaking group of people from some other religion. Everybody. It's the most dangerous place we've been.
As we saw, and I was winding down here to come to a conclusion, with health care, and especially with the war in Afghanistan, the American people in the polls show they didn't want it. The Obama administration did not listen to the American people. They went into Afghanistan, and the Iraqi thing's going to go on in Pakistan. Countries I've never heard, Yemen, countries I've never heard of that we're going into. So the question I may want to end this with, and we'll dialogue a bit, is they're not listening to the American people. They're obviously not. Some people I know have said voting no longer works. As we saw with Nancy Pelosi not too long ago, she showed up at the Omni Shore in Washington, D.C., and she got heckled by progressives. They almost had to pull her out of the room. Is it time for uncivil conduct to get their attention? Is it time for civil disobedience? I mean, otherwise, how do we move the elephant to act for us or on our behalf?
Well, I don't think voting is completely useless. I think it could be a very, very powerful tool, and I think we could use it much more effectively if we set aside our loyalty to the parties. Because if we're going to, if our local Congress member does everything we oppose, but we think they're better than the other choice because that would be from the other party, whichever party it might be, and so we'll complain and whine, but we won't try to unelect them because the other party scares us, well, then we don't have any power. But if we transpartisanly organize independently and say to every one of these people, if you don't start listening to us, we will vote you out. Even if in the short run it just puts in somebody worse, we will vote you out. Okay. But it is long since time for nonviolent resistance, for disruption, for counter-recruitment in the military, for building independent media, and for interfering and getting in the way of this machine. And I think that people should be going to Washington, D.C. There's going to be a major effort starting on the 4th of July to disrupt this war machine in Washington.
Thank you, David Swanson.
Thank you.